What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. Interesting developments happened yesterday as Danielle Smith held a press conference. I know some people have already talked about it, but hey, this is an Alberta-based channel, meaning I live in Alberta. We should probably talk about it. It's going to be interesting to see what this does on the independence front, as I think I've said many times that I don't believe that there really is a beneficial deal that the federal government could give Albertans to convince them after Alberta Prosperity's budget bill had come out, or budget document, has come to light. That would be more beneficial than what the APP could offer Albertans. I don't think that Mark Carney could offer anything close. That being said, not even Mark Carney has offered a deal, or will offer a deal, I think, moving forward. However, Danielle Smith showing that she's doing more than the Prime Minister. Not only did she cut taxes recently, more than Mark Carney offered to do for Canadians, but she's continuing her work. While Mark Carney spent Canada Day asking for a day off, instead of handling tariffs, instead of handling anything that this country needs in terms of falling apart, well, Danielle Smith is still out there hustling, making sure that Albertans have everything they need, and now people across Canada. Now, I do want to move over to her press conference video. Let's take a look at what is going on over here with Danielle, hanging out with Doug Ford. Of course, the Calgary Stampede is under full effect in Calgary right now. It's the Calgary Stampede. Good news for the people of Ontario, that while tariffs have essentially been punishing the potential job losses of automakers, aluminum workers, those in the trades, Danielle Smith has stepped up with closet liberal Doug Ford. Of course, Doug sees dollar signs. Danielle sees a future for job creation for Albertans. It looks as though a new pipeline agreement has been made, as well as deals with the auto sector. Let's take a listen to what they have to say, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on it. Let's take a peek.
The first of these agreements formalizes our commitment to working together to maximize the economic value of Canada's energy resources and enhance Canada's energy security and global competitiveness. We're uniting with Ontario to amplify our voices and double down on our efforts to carve a path forward together for Alberta, for Ontario, and for Canada.
Can I just say, as we move forward, I know people are probably going to be mad I'm cutting in here. Look at how, does Doug Ford, can people in Ontario who watch this channel tell me this, does he always look this nervous when somebody else is speaking on a stage? I've never actually taken the time to look, but he kind of looks like he's holding in a fart or something. He's glancing all over to the cameras. He's looking at people. He doesn't even know how to really stand at attention here. Let me go back a little because you can see his eyes shifting around. Very uncomfortable. Somebody tell me if he does this regularly. Let's continue.
And double down on our efforts to carve a path forward together for Alberta, for Ontario, and for Canada. Through this agreement, we'll work together to explore ways to improve networks and corridors that better connect our energy and critical minerals to markets here at home, as well as international markets around the globe. We'll focus on supporting industry efforts to build oil and gas pipelines and refining, processing, and supply chains for energy and critical minerals between Alberta and Ontario. We'll work towards accelerating our exports across industries. And that means we're seeking to add more rail lines to increase capacity and enhance access to ports, including to sites in James Bay and southern Ontario. And we will share expertise to advance development of nuclear energy solutions so our provinces can keep up with the ever-growing demand on Alberta and Ontario's electricity grids. We know there's strength in taking a united front, but we cannot achieve our shared provincial goals without cooperation from the federal government. It's vital that the federal government gets fully on board with creating the conditions necessary to strengthen Canada's economy and competitiveness, improve investor confidence, and grow productivity. Ottawa must answer our calls and remove all federal barriers that have harmed Canada's ability to grow the energy sector and other industries such as mining and manufacturing. And this includes, but is not limited to, repealing or amending the Impact Assessment Act and the oil tanker ban. We're also working to repeal the net zero power regulations and the proposed oil and gas production cap. We also call on the federal government to repeal their electric vehicle mandate that comes into effect next year. Last year, only 4.2% of the cars sold in Alberta were zero-emission vehicles. And the federal government's EV mandate says that 20% of cars sold in 2026 must be zero-emissions vehicles. We buy about 200,000 cars, so that would be about 40,000 cars. So we would have to buy nearly every single zero-emission vehicle manufactured in Ontario last year to hit the 20% target. And we're just one province. So removing federal barriers will allow Alberta and Ontario to attract investment and project partners we need to get shovels in the ground, grow industries, and create jobs. I'm excited to continue collaborating with Ontario so we can reach our shared goals, including to advance pipelines and responsible energy development. I am also pleased to partner with Premier Ford to support the growth of two other major industries of significance to Alberta and Ontario. The second Memorandum of Understanding outlines Alberta's commitment to explore ways to prioritize the purchase of made-in-Canada vehicles for our government fleets in a show of support for Ontario's automotive industry. And it sets the stage for Ontario's government to work with Alberta to explore ways to find additional opportunities to improve the interprovincial trade of liquor products to create even more opportunity for our producers. Today's signing marks an historic partnership founded in a mutual ambition to reach the full potential of our provinces, to grow our list of global customers for our energy resources, and to achieve long-term prosperity for all Canadians. I'll now turn it over to Premier Ford to speak more about today's MOUs.
So don't worry, folks. I'm not going to bore you with Doug Ford because all he's doing is butt kissing. Now, what's funny about closet liberal Doug Ford, the guy bashed Pierre Poilievre. He's essentially trying to usurp conservative federal party leadership rights. And, you know, say what you want to about that. I know nothing's been announced as of yet. It's just hearsay down the back hallways of Rumorville. But Doug, of course, is responsible for Mark Carney's election win. He had a lot to do with it when it came to sabotaging Pierre, throwing him under the bus. This guy flip-flops almost as much as Mark Carney does with Donald Trump. No, I'm not trying to steal Pierre's joke, but it was a zinger. Danielle Smith, I mean, is there anything this woman can't do? A lot of people in the comments have often said, you know, I live in Ontario or I live in Eastern Canada. I wish we could have Danielle Smith. Well, good news, folks. She's fighting for you too. Now, it's nice to see her come forward to say, look, we're going to buy Canadian vehicles for our Canadian fleets. I think that's a good gesture to show solidarity for their Canadian automotive industry. But saying that we're going to get rail pipelines moving through, that we're going to get a lot of interprovincial open trade barriers out of the way for Alberta to Ontario so that more goods can be moved throughout. This is, of course, trails back to what Pierre Poilievre was talking about during the election, that we want to unlock Canada's potential. Now, while this is a good deal and that a pipeline is essentially going to be put in running bitumen south of Ontario, I still don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough to qualm the independence movement that's ever so growing in Alberta. Now, as I was down in the Calgary Stampede yesterday, I took the family down for the day to visit family, partake on the grounds a little bit. I can tell you right now, there were many people on the grounds talking about Alberta independence, and just hearing the old earwigs as you walk around and hearing what people have to say as you're passing through the crowds. Again, not one single person saying we should be staying in Canada. The majority of people saying, look at the prices of this, look at the cost of that. I can't wait to vote. We got to get out of here. Enough is enough. People are mad. People are fed up. They've had enough. And while it's good to see Danielle Smith upholding her mandate and finding work with the government of Ontario, I want to paint another picture for you. And I know people are going to say, hey, Fringe, come on, you're always talking about Alberta independence. You're always talking, you know, what about the rest of us? How do we benefit? Well, this situation could actually be significantly better for Alberta if we were to vote independence. These deals can still be done, folks. Now, while Danielle and Doug have actually gone over Mark Carney's head here, which I think is hilarious, I'm sure Doug will flip-flop on that again in a couple weeks when Mark Carney gets mad about it. If he ever comes back from holidays. But if Alberta were to remain independent, if we were to separate from Canada, becoming an independent nation, these deals could still be done, and Alberta would actually stand to gain a lot more in profits. This is all part of the APP's budgetary plan to essentially phase out income taxes, phase out our costs of living in terms of taxation, in terms of providing a better pension plan, having billions of dollars to go towards police forces, hospitals, securities for those in Alberta. Just think about the money that could be saved here in deals like these. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Alberta becoming sovereign doesn't necessarily mean that we're cut off from the rest of the world. It just means that any deals we do keeps the money in Alberta for Albertans. And Canada would still need our bitumen oil. Canada would still need our natural gas. Canada would still need a lot of products that we offer from within Alberta. And those deals could be done within an independent Alberta. So again, having to go over Mark Carney's head tells me that the federal government still doesn't want to do anything to give Alberta a fair shake at the table. And while this is good news, I don't want anybody to think I'm poo-pooing on this. I think it's fantastic for those in Ontario. I think it's fantastic for those in the auto sector. You never want to see people losing their jobs. You want to see provinces actually fighting to keep people employed, and that's what's been done here. So kudos. Regardless of how much I dislike Doug Ford, kudos to both provinces for coming up with a deal that works, that's going to benefit our workers, keep people employed. But again, as far as it goes for Alberta, I don't believe it's enough. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think it's still time to go, or do you think that progress, this maybe is a 1 foot forward in the process of maybe putting out the flames of the ever-growing fire of independence in Alberta? Let me know your thoughts down below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure, as you click that subscribe button, you click the bell for all notifications. Join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our weekly live streaming show, where I'm joined by the beautiful Mrs. Fringe as we go back and forth throughout the greatest YouTube community on the platform, hearing what you guys have to say outside of making these videos. I look forward to chatting with you guys each and every week to talk about politics and hear what you guys have to say, but I most importantly look forward to hearing what you have to tell me this Friday night starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central here on the channel. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.